Hey guys, what's going on? Lee Sanders here. You are checking out an all-new The RCWR show covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. We are coming at you all for this Sunday night of March 10th, 2019. I do hope many of you have remembered to spring forward because it did go into effect this weekend. We're talking WWE Fastlane 2019 full show results review. It's our after show edition. You know how we do it here. We come at you guys live on many platforms as soon as a WWE pay-per-view event or a special TV event wraps up. It's our post-show edition. Do appreciate those of you that's checking out this episode, be it live or you're going to be checking it out on demand and on the downloads. We got the polls up for those of you that did see tonight's Fastlane pay-per-view event. I want to know what you thought of the event, so sound off. We've got it on Twitter. We also have it on the YouTube channel. You can find it by clicking on the Communities tab over at youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the Communities tab and you will see your options that way. We try to keep it very simplistic for you guys on both respective mediums. Your first option, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Your second option, thumbs down. And your third option, no more pay-per-view before WrestleMania, please. I know that's been a theme. A lot of you all have been noticing over the past couple of years that there's been a pay-per-view before WrestleMania, and a lot of you all at this point, you would rather that there be more emphasis put on storytelling, rivalries, the build-up going into Mania, rather than just, okay, let's do another pay-per-view. Okay, now let's try to cram in some story arcs and all that weeks before WrestleMania. No, many of you guys missed the old format that WWE used to do back in the day. So we'll see where the polling results of this goes. I know with regards to YouTube, that was just posted a couple of minutes ago. So we can definitely come on back to that a little bit later. But as far as how it's looking on Twitter, I've gotten a bit of a better gauge on where people are at. Let's see where we are. Right now, we have about 24% of people, they want no more pay-per-view, before Mania. We have 28% thumbs up and standing strong. 48% are giving the pay-per-view event a thumbs up. Again, 48%. If you don't agree with the results that you're hearing so far, take your pick, cast your vote. We'll definitely come on back, check out those polling results. Before we go off the air, let's go ahead and let's jump right into this. And before anybody asks me, yes, I did see Captain Marvel. I said a little something on the YouTube Communities tab, and that had got met with a bit of scrutiny. Can I just say in a nutshell, and I'll talk a lot more about Captain Marvel on this Tuesday's new RCWR show, 10 p.m. Eastern, soon as SmackDown goes off the air. Can I just say that's what makes this world so beautiful, is that we all have different tastes, we have different emotions, we react to certain situations, things in an entirely different way. If we all agreed on the same damn thing, this world would be a boring place. Let me tell you, I had put this tweet out the other day, and you kind of get an idea of where I'm going when I get ready to put this out there. But I had watched Death Wish 3. And if you've watched all of the Death Wish movies, you know where I'm going with this. But a lot of people had badmouthed the hell out of Death Wish 3. A lot of people felt that Charles Robinson, that he wasn't even trying in that last effort there, in the third effort. They felt he wasn't even trying. They felt he was really phoning the shit in, right? No enthusiasm whatsoever, no energy. You really could tell that this dude was just doing this movie just to collect some type of a paycheck. And if I'm not mistaken, the budget of that movie was a little bit over $10 million. Of that budget, 1.5 million had to go in his pocket, right? And I never realized it until particularly when I looked at the movie the other night. Seen it many times, but it didn't really dawn on me until last night just how comical Death Wish 3 is. Just how over dramatic, over the top, the violence that comes about, especially towards the end with the whole gang fight and everything. It's just a load of BS. It's not even funny. Yet I still like it. Other people, they may feel that is the worst, right? Because a lot of people feel that after the first two Death Wish movies, that was it. Like, it should have stopped. But you have those, and I'm one of those select few. Hey, 3 was pretty damn good, despite the fact it was over the top, bit crappy, a little bit, ooh, that acting, woof, right? But that's all I have to say with regards to, now I'll let you connect the dots with regards to Captain Marvel. We'll talk a lot more about that, but I just thought I'd address that because I've been kind of getting that off and on this weekend. Did you go see Captain Marvel yet? Overall, I thought tonight's WWE Fastlane event was a decent pay-per-view. I mean, the matches that we got, and I gotta give a lot of props to the WWE. They switched it up big time this year. They came at us just when we thought we had the entire card. We got surprised with a lot of tweaks during this event. We'll definitely tell you all about it. Now, you can interact during the course of this show a number of ways. Of course, we have our community over on Discord. So shout out to those of you that are in the Discord interacting with each other and maybe checking out the show that way, as you can listen to the show via Discord as you're typing along with amigos in there. And you can also get at us via the RCWR Show app that's available for free for you Android users in the Google Play Store. And we're streaming live right now on Spreaker as well. You can also get at me on Twitter, right? So sound off. And pre-show, Fastlane pre-show, pretty solid. Got to give it up. Jonathan Coachman, David Otunga. Who else was thrown in the mix there? We also had Sam Roberts. And we had, I'm missing the third guy. I can almost see him, but I can't quite see him. So we had Jonathan Coachman, we had David Otunga, we had Sam Roberts, and I sadly cannot see the other guy. There was a third guy that was in there, but I know after a while it rotated because we actually got properly introduced to Christian. Pretty sure it wasn't Booker T that was in there. I would have remembered because Booker T usually says something kind of wacky that sticks out in my mind. I'll have to rely on you guys to jog my memory as far as who the fourth guy was in there. But at one point during the pre-show, we did see Christian, and it was great seeing Christian. And no, Lee Strack. I could have sworn it was somebody else. I could have sworn it was a fourth person, not Christian. I thought it was somebody else before Christian. Or was it always a case where it was just 3 of them? That's the question I should be asking. Was it just the 3 of them and Christian was the 4th leg eventually, or did it start off as 4? Because I swear to God, it feels like there was somebody else before they introduced Christian as a 4th wheel. But anyway, thought they did pretty good. Really thoroughly had enjoyed Christian being part of the pre-show panel. He brought a new dynamic to the mix. I mean, look, when it's all said and done, David Otunga, he was only wrestling for a quick cup of coffee, right? So you could pretty much, whatever, that doesn't really count. So to have Christian there, somebody that is an established wrestling veteran, seen it all, been through it all, and his name is constantly out there because of what he's doing with the Edge and Christian podcast, the Edge and Christian show on the WWE Network. He makes his rounds around the United States, taking part in autograph signings, things of that nature. Curious if he's going to be coming to this year's Awesome Con again, because we had just got some awesome, no pun intended, news that WWE Hall of Famer Sergeant Slaughter is actually going to be at Awesome Con as well, on top of the icon Sting. So I'm a little bit curious if there's going to be a couple of more WWE signings or if that's going to be it. I'm salivating, man. I am looking at my WWE World Heavyweight Championship and I am just drooling at the mouth that it's going to get some more signatures added to it. We already got CM Punks, and now we're going to get Stings, and we're going to be able to get Sergeant Slaughter. For those of you that maybe are just hearing the news about Sergeant Slaughter, yes, he will be at Awesome Con. He's going to be at the RF video table. Again, he's going to be at the RF video table. I'll have all that information for you on this coming show. We did not get the 2 pre-show matchups that we thought we were going to be getting. Remember, one of those pre-show matchups was going to be Andrade Cien Almas taking on Rey Mysterio. It's just going to be a straight up one-on-one match. You know, we're looking forward to that one. That actually did not happen. Those two men actually were put on the main pay-per-view card, and the match that they were involved in, it was actually a fatal four-way for the United States Championship. So that pretty much was it for them. But we did still get to see for our pre-show the New Day's Big E and Xavier Woods, as they had teamed up to take on Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. So we still did get that one, so that's good. Gotta say, for that pre-show matchup, pretty good. I ended up seeing it. It was about almost 15 minutes and some change, give or take. It was actually a pretty good tag match, good opener, getting the crowd nice and ready. And the placement of that match was pretty good as well. I gotta give it up to WWE. They put that match on probably at about the 10:35 mark, maybe almost the, I'm sorry, I said 10:35. I don't know why I'm thinking 10. I'm sorry. They put it on at about the 7:30 p.m. mark, maybe almost at the 7:40. It was almost close to the 7:40 that they had put it on, but the timing of it was very good, because after the match was over, there was only a couple of minutes left where the guys gave final thoughts on some of the other matches that was going to be coming about and everything. So I don't think I did that shabby tonight with regards to offering predictions as well. I'm going to have to wait and see how we did, because there was a lot of stuff, and I'm sure a lot of my colleagues will agree with me. There were so many tweaks done to this pay-per-view that when it came to the predictions, it messed a lot of us up, but it kind of helped us at the same time, because since some of these matches didn't happen, whatever streak we might have been on with our win-loss ratio for the night, it was protected because of some of these tweaks that they did. If I have one slight bone to pick with regards to the pre-show, I got to home in on Sam Roberts. I'm starting to come around. Tolerating is the word I want to use, because I don't like Sam Roberts and what he brings to the table with the WWE, contrary to how some people may feel. I honestly, I relate more to Peter Rosenberg. I just like his swag and everything that comes about him. You know, the Peter Rosenberg that we get when he's on his FM radio station and all that, a lot of times I wish we could just tap into that Peter Rosenberg on the WWE pre-shows. I would like that a lot more than the filtered, dumbed down version that we get of him, because I think if, and you all would agree with me that I've seen and heard a lot of his stuff when he's on the radio with his guys, he just comes off so better flowing. And to that, maybe some people may say, well, Sam Roberts, he's in that same realm as well, if you can get him out of that hole. But no, it just overall, there's just something about Rosenberg that he doesn't come off dickish in any type of way. He doesn't come off like an asshole. He just legitimately, if you give him an opportunity to just, okay, here's some bullet points, just have at it. He seems like you can really just go with the flow. As I just find that Sam Roberts is continuing to search. He's continuing to try to find the right witty things to say. Point being, tonight they were hyping up the Becky Lynch taking on Charlotte match. And you know the stipulation with regards to this one, right? So basically, Becky Lynch, she signs the contract, and there's a clause in there that says, hey, anything that happens to you, look, anything goes. Right? Anything goes. We're not going to be held liable for you if you mess your leg up or worse. Anything pretty much goes by you signing this contract. WWE is not responsible. You ain't going to be able to turn around, sue us, yada, 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 right? But we know that if Becky Lynch wins this match against Charlotte, then she's injected into the WrestleMania match for the Raw Women's Championship. Instead of it being a one-on-one, it then becomes a triple threat. So you're keeping that in mind, and I liked how everybody, Christian, Coachman, Otunga, everybody was just looking at all different sides. But then Sam Roberts, he overshot it for me, because he chimes in and says, well, Charlotte has nothing to lose. She's at WrestleMania regardless. And I couldn't help but say, that might be true, Sam, but guess what? If you're Charlotte, yeah, you might be able to, no matter what, you still may be going to WrestleMania, but if you're Charlotte, it makes a lot more sense for you to go in there and just to have that extra icing on the cake that, hey, of all the opponents that you faced over the years in the WWE, of all of your rivalries that you've had this far in your career, none have been more heated, none have been more intimate than the rivalry that you've had going on with Becky Lynch. So it would make more sense that Charlotte feels the need to somehow, by any means necessary, deny Becky Lynch the opportunity to be injected in her main event match against Ronda for the title at WrestleMania. This way, Charlotte knows, okay, I've got 4 weeks to prepare for just one opponent. I've got to brush up on the tapes. I got to see what they're all about, and I got to get ready for them, as opposed to, all right, I've got to get ready for 2 opponents, and at some point during what could be a triple threat match, it could be a handicap match because both of these girls could team up on my ass. So like 2-on-1, I'm screwed. And even if it's not a 2-on-1, right? Still, the odds of you walking out of there with the Raw Women's Championship, you know, it's 1 out of 3, right? It's now 1 out of 3. Instead of it being 50-50, right? 50% shot, 50 out of 50 shot, now it's 1/3, right? So I just really did not like the way Sam Roberts tried to throw his 2 cents in on that one. I felt he missed it a bit with that one because everybody else that was talking about it, they were on point, but Sam, whatever. Anyway, pre-show matchup, like we say, we had one match, Big E, Xavier Woods. Big E, Xavier Woods, they defeated Nakamura and Rusev. Going to our actual first match of the card itself, we had Miz and Shane McMahon taking on the Usos for the SmackDown tag titles. Great match. Great match. I mean, come on. Look, man, you know by now, anytime you've got the Usos involved, it's on a pay-per-view, you know by now, these guys got it. It's going to be a good match. It's either going to be a 3.5 or it's going to be a 4-star. You know there's going to be some key spots during their tag match at a pay-per-view event where you're going to say, oh, remember when they did this? Or, hey, how about when they did that? And as always, they delivered in this one. I mean, that sick-ass spot that had came about towards the end of the match where Shane O'Mac, he climbed to the top turnbuckle and he was looking for coast to coast. But then you had, and sadly I forget which Uso it was, but you had one Uso climb up to the top turnbuckle and he was ready to do a Uso frog splash, right, onto freaking Miz. And you have Shane and that respected Uso just staring at each other, and they're basically trying to talk each other down from the turnbuckles, but neither man is giving. And then finally it comes down to, well, who can be quicker? Who is going to hit their opponent first? So they both leap at the same time, and there is just a beautiful, beautiful midair collision as they both just bump and tangle all up into each other. It was a beautiful ass spot. Loved it tremendously. That was good. Closing moments of this matchup, we saw Miz. I mean, my God, he really worked most of this matchup, especially after he had got the hot tag and all that. That dude was just exhausted. One point in the match, it looked as though maybe Miz was going to win the tag belts once again for him and Shane. Referee inadvertently got taken out. Time the referee was able to come back through, sadly, that 3 count, my God, you could have almost counted up to 10. That's how long it took for the referee to finally come back around and try to get to Miz. No dice. Closing moments of this matchup, we saw a spot come about where Miz went to the top turnbuckle at the advice of his dad. His dad had encouraged him to head on up to the top turnbuckle, look for that high-risk maneuver, felt that timing was right. You can get a sweet payoff that way. So we saw Miz go up to that top turnbuckle. He was trying to go for a frog splash, but again, I got my Usos. You got to forgive me because I'm taking the notes and then I'm involved in some side chatter and all that. So 1 minute it's, I couldn't tell you. I could probably tell you which Uso it was at the moment, but I can't tell you right now, sadly. But whichever Uso that was, he was trying to do the frog splash too. That respected Uso had lifted his knees up in time. Miz catches nothing but knees in the abdomen region. And he is just, perfect case of crash and burn. That Uso does a quick roll up. 1, 2, 3. Usos retain their SmackDown tag titles that way. So, see a spot come about where Shane O'Mac, he's asking Miz if he's okay, and Miz is asking if Shane is okay. And nothing that Miz wanted to do more than win these tag titles in front of his dad, in front of his hometown. Because after all, Fastlane had came to us tonight from Cleveland, Ohio at the Quicken Loans Arena. And he really was looking for that approval, really was seeking that nod tonight from his dad. And his dad, pretty cool. You saw a parent that basically was showing his son a lot of love and basically kind of giving you the impression that dad's saying, hey, don't worry about it. We'll get him next time. Don't worry about it. So we see Shane O'Mac goes over to the dad, shakes his hand, gives him a hug, pats him and everything. And Miz, frustrated, he's walking on. Shane McMahon, wham! Just attacks Miz from behind. Nice little clothesline to the back of the neck, head, and just starts proceeding to beat the holy living, out of the Miz. Fans eating this up right in the palm of Shane O'Mac's hands, and Shane is just with the beatdown. Beautiful. And if you had caught my predictions piece when I was talking about what could come about at tonight's Fastlane, I basically tried to look at it from the standpoint of if I was booking it and what WWE most likely is going to do. I put the idea out there that at this point, Cleveland, do you really want to have it be almost a no-brainer, Miz turning on Shane O'Mac? That's what many people would expect to happen. And I had passionately said it makes more sense to have Shane O'Mac be the one that turns on the Miz, because that's something that people just will not see coming. Not to mention, Shane was pretty damn good back in his day as a heel. He's been a face for a good minute now since he's been back this go round. Now, of course, your history of Shane O'Mac, that one of the factions he had ran in back in the day was the Mean Street Posse. So now, of course, a lot of people are wondering, are we going to see maybe some type of return of the Mean Street Posse, or is maybe Shane going to get together a new Mean Street Posse 2.0? What exactly is going to happen here? And just to kind of go back to when I was offering predictions, one of the things I had said with regards to why Shane O'Mac would turn on Miz, I basically said something along the lines of Shane O'Mac could easily cut a promo on SmackDown and say, hey, as far as I was concerned, Miz, ever since he became a dad, he's gotten soft. Ever since he let the WWE Universe in to his, what was once a black heart, he hasn't been the same guy. He's all lovey-dovey and all this other crap. And then he could also incorporate that to, hey, I'm a McMahon. McMahons don't lose. We never lose. We always win no matter what. And I could legitimately see Shane O'Mac cutting some type of a promo along those lines, right? Now, we all can fine-tune that little rough draft that I just put out there, but when you get right down to the heart of the matter, you strip everything away and you just get down to the key bullet points. That pretty much was what I was talking about when I was offering predictions. So I'm very curious to see if that's the direction that they're going to be going in. We will know in just a couple of days, but that was beautiful. Crowd eating it up, booing the hell out of Shane. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. That was really good stuff right there. So way this is looking right now, Miz, Shane O'Mac, WrestleMania, yeah, I'm down with that. And look, when it's all said and done, you know, both of these guys, they're probably going to be off TV for several weeks, maybe 2 months or something along those lines, because Miz is going to have his new show come back for its second season, Miz and Mrs. That's going to happen, I think, just a couple of days before Mania, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody let me know what the date is of Miz and Mrs. coming back. So the timing of this is pretty good, and usually the pattern we've seen the past couple of years since Shane has been back, he's usually off the week of WrestleMania or whatever. He usually takes a couple of weeks off. So these guys, they need all the rest that they can get, especially Miz. He's a new dad and all, hasn't really had that type of quality time with the missus, the family, and all that. So, but a good tag team matchup nonetheless. Great tag team matchup. Elias was dominating all throughout the night. He had some pretty good segments, just making fun of Cleveland every single chance he got, bringing up the whole LeBron James, bringing up the Cleveland Browns. Vintage Elias at his finest. Loved it. Loved all of his segments. He popped up about, what, maybe 3-4 times. Good stuff that he did. Second match of the night, Mandy Rose taking on Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title. We did see at one point during the pre-show, EC3. He had tried to approach Mandy Rose. I guess opposites attract is maybe what was going on with our boy. Whoa, what's going on here? Oh, are you serious? I think we just found out who won the freaking predictions, who had the best win-loss record for tonight. Let's see, who was the winner? Oh, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. It is 1, 2, 3. It is a tie. That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, because, see, we didn't get Rey Mysterio versus Andrade because they were involved in the U.S. title match. Let's see here. Yeah, I got that. I got that. Got that. Got that. Got that. Oh, man. I was so close. I missed it by one fucking match. Oh, that sucks, man. So out of the matches that we did get at the time when we were offering preview and predictions, it looks like I was off by, according to this, and shout out to my boy Seth. Seth does a really great job in chronicling all the predictions and all that. So out of the 7 matches that we knew at that time, I missed it by 1. That's still pretty good, though. I mean, to my credit, that's pretty good. I like that. I'll take that. I will fucking take that. Everybody else, let's see here. Who else? 1, 2. It's a 3-way as far as who's flawless. My God, it's a 3-way. That's ridiculous. And then who had the worst record? Who had the worst record? I see somebody only got 5 out of 7. That's not really too bad. Let's see here. See a lot of 5 out of 7s here now that I'm looking at it. I only see, and you got a 1 tie, 2 ties, 3 ties. You got a 3-way tie for being 6 out of 7. Damn. All right. Anyway, good stuff right there. Congrats to our winners, by the way. Congrats. Anyway. Where was I? Yeah, Mandy Rose taking on Asuka. Like I was saying before, during the pre-show, we had EC3. He had approached Mandy. I guess it was a case of opposites attract, right? Sadly, EC3 really could not go that far in his conversation with Mandy, as Sonya Deville stepped in and basically told him to make like a tree and leave. Yeah. So that pretty much was it for EC3. But it was nice hearing him talk normal and mingling with other superstars, because I'm still a little bit traumatized from, was it this week's Raw or the Raw before, where he was backstage and he was holding a bottle of Windex or spray or some shit in his hand, and you just see him standing there way in the back, and he just has the same creepy pose as the freaking Windex is in his hand, and he's looking at himself in the mirror, but he's just looking dead straight ahead. He's not even looking at the mirror. He's just looking dead straight ahead at whoever is talking into the microphone, being interviewed at that time. Creepy shit right there. But Mandy, Asuka, good match. It was actually a really good match. I tell you, I'm really, really starting to come around to Mandy Rose as an in-ring performer. I am really, really impressed. You know, as far as how she was tonight in the ring, everything about her was very fluid. I know a lot of people were kind of ripping on her just a little bit for what had went down with a house show that her and Asuka had participated in some days back, where sadly Asuka got injured, but luckily Asuka said, hey, I'm okay. It's not as bad as people are making it seem. I'm actually okay. I'll be all right. Just got to heal up. Just need a day or two to rest up. You guys will see me. Don't worry about it. So that was really good to hear. And I would have to say Mandy Rose wrestled a lot smarter this go round. I really did not see her hardly to zero do any powerlifting moves as we've been seeing her do off and on the past couple of weeks. So it was nice to see that she really tried to stick to a smart ground game and not really do anything that would be out of her bounds, right? One thing, if I had any type of constructive criticism to offer to Mandy Rose, it would be, and I want for a lot of you guys to home in on this the next time you see some of her matches. Keep this in the back of your mind. If there's one thing that I've noticed with Mandy Rose, it's that whenever she is doing whatever moves on her opponent, especially if it's a case where, like tonight, a couple of times she had Asuka in a submission hold, and I really did not see a change in her mannerisms. And that's the one thing I would like to see Mandy work on a bit more. She's coming along very well in the ring, very fluid. She's come a long way. I mean, just to take the Mandy Rose from like 6 months ago and point it out to, you know, now, just to do a comparison, I like where she is right now. She's doing very, very good. But the mannerism, she's got to work on that more. And it's so funny because despite the fact that Asuka, who, let's be honest, is definitely an in-ring veteran, you looked at when she was on the offense doing whatever maneuvers to Mandy, the mannerisms, everything she had down. There was emotion and there was selling. I just didn't really see enough of that to hardly any from Mandy. I remember one hold in particular. There was a, oh God, I can't think of the maneuver hold, but it was kind of like a octopus stretch kind of. And all I saw was Mandy just grinding her teeth, and it's like, come on, give me a little bit more emotion. Get, you know, grind them teeth a little bit more. Get a little bit pissed off. Kind of showboat a little bit. Talk some shit to your opponent, and I didn't really get any of that. But then when the pages were flipped and it was all about Asuka, she definitely was selling the mannerisms and all of that a lot better. So maybe it's just a case where it comes in due time, right? Because after all, Asuka's an in-ring veteran, who knows? But closing moments of this matchup, we had saw Sonya Deville. She tried to be a good sport, help out Mandy Rose. She tried to help out Mandy by looking under the apron for a kendo stick, and I guess Sonya was looking for the right opportunity to use this kendo stick, preferably while the ref was distracted. But here's where things get a little bit messed up. Sonya, sadly, after she was done finding a kendo stick under the ring, she did not securely make sure the ring apron was back in place. So in the closing moments of this matchup, we saw Asuka and Mandy, they're standing up, they're fighting each other, you know, nice good strike game going on. And then we see a case where somebody's trying to Irish whip the other into the ropes. We see Asuka get the upper hand, sending Mandy Rose in the direction of where that apron has still not been fixed. So her foot actually gets caught up on some of that apron that's at ringside, trips her up bad. Asuka capitalizes, does a spinning heel kick to the face of Mandy Rose, picks up the 1, 2, 3 that way. Asuka retains her title. Just like that. We saw Sonya, she tried to apologize to Mandy after the fact. Mandy was not having any of it. She just wanted to be done. So that's pretty much how that matchup had had came and went. It's funny because one of the last times that Elias was in the ring, we had saw, what's her name, Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans had came out doing her usual Grandpa Simpson, right? Her Grandpa Simpson entrance. I'm starting to really believe, boys and girls, that at this point, it's probably going to be Asuka defending that SmackDown Women's title against Lacey Evans. I really believe that at this point, you want to talk about making your in-ring debut on the grandest stage of them all, right? I really believe in my heart of hearts it's going to be going down at WrestleMania. Now, let me back up a second, because one can technically make the argument, well, Lacey Evans already made her in-ring debut. Well, look at it from this standpoint. It is her singles in-ring debut at the grandest stage of them all. First time ever shot at the title. I mean, it really does come off like this girl is going to be hot-shotted right at the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. That's just the vibe I'm getting. Do I hope I'm wrong and maybe they go in another direction? Well, just looking at the current landscape of the SmackDown roster right now, just looking at all the other girls, I mean, can we be honest for a second? Let's keep it real. We can be in agreement that the Chocobos, who were screaming their heads off during the pre-show, I had to go into another room until they were done. The Iconics, right? Nah, that's not happening. We can forget that. They've got the wrong kind of heat right now. They don't even have that go away heat, right? They've got that Baron Corbin you suck vibe going on right now. Sadly, as beautiful and attractive as they are, that's what they honestly have going on. So we could pretty much forget about them. Naomi, I love Naomi. Who doesn't love Naomi? But you kind of need some new blood, right? Lana, this Lacey Evans, unless you're gonna go with maybe Nikki Cross, unless you say Nikki Cross taking on Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title at Mania, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But just the way things are kind of looking right now, it's kind of safe to say it's going to be Lacey Evans. So I know some people are a little bit on the fence about that, but it is what it is. Next matchup. Hey, you guys enjoying the after show so far? If so, if you haven't done so already, please be kind and make sure you like this, share it all throughout social media. Do subscribe. And when you do subscribe, if you're subscribing in particular via YouTube, make sure you click on the bell notification so you always know about upcoming future content. Take this time out, give a shout out to some of our Patreon members, because without their kind contributions, I tell you what, them and our sponsors, content like what you're checking out right now may not be free. So we definitely want to shout out good buddy of mine, Anthony Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup. Got to sit down with my man there. Got to figure out when we're going to be recording that WoW episode, talking about everything that came about from this first season. Also, shout out to Joe Ramon Jr. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Sign up, patreon.com/RCWR show. Get access to bonus and new audio and video content. Sometimes it's cases where you get access to it days in advance, and then other times it's exclusive to just our Patreon members only. I'll definitely be talking about Captain Marvel for our Patreon members. At this point, I'm going to sleep on what I had saw, because I did see the movie earlier today. So I'm going to sleep on what I saw, and then I'll record some audio for Monday. So you Patreon members, look out. You all will get that on Monday. And I think everybody else will probably hook you guys up maybe Thursday. Who knows? Who knows? We'll wait and we'll see how that comes about. Also, we got a sponsor for tonight's RCWR show. So we do want to take this time out and recognize them, because we definitely appreciate them working with us for this week's episode. As once again, we are covering WWE Fastlane 2019. It's your results and review after show. We want to take this time out and we want to recognize Fly Fashions FLY, which stands for First Love Yourself, is a fashion movement. FLY Fashions is meant to be an eye-catching and trendy representation of personal style. Trendy is truly in the eyes of the beholder. From skinny jeans to the skirt and blazer look, graphic tees are always in season, as you know. FLY, First Love Yourself Fashions, is a line of self-expressive tees and accessories for women and men. FLY Fashions express your mood while adding to your personality. From members of Natural Hair Sisterhood to expressions of faith and everything in between, FLY Fashions design empowering self-expressive styles and accessories to speak your truth in the world in style. FLY Fashions give you a trendy and attractive way to voice your self-love and personal style. They offer fashions that make it fun and easy just to be you. So be bold and express your unique self. Shop right now, FLY Fashions. Head on over to fly-fashions.com. Once again, fly-fashions.com. Appreciate partnering up with them for tonight's episode. Let's get to our next matchup. So, backstage segment, we see Kofi Kingston. He has been waiting patiently to speak to Mr. McMahon, as during the pre-show, we see that Kofi Kingston gets word that Mr. McMahon wants to speak with Kofi about his WWE Championship, possibly an opportunity or whatnot. So, Kofi, all right, let's see what's going on here. Kofi is waiting an hour to speak to Mr. McMahon. So by the time the pay-per-view happens and pretty much after we see Mandy Rose take on Asuka, we go backstage. It's pretty much now been an hour as Kofi is continuing to wait outside of Mr. McMahon's office. We see Xavier Woods, Becky Langston, they come in wondering what's going on. Why does McMahon continue to have him wait? He's been waiting this long. Hell, he's waited 11 years. It's time to stop fooling around. Let's go see what's going on. So they force their way into Mr. McMahon's office. He gets off of his phone and we see Big E do most of the talking, saying, hey, this man has been working for you, busting his ass for 11 years now. What you did to him, it was so wrong. Come on, make it right. Give him a championship match opportunity. And Vince McMahon went on ahead and said to Kofi Kingston, okay, tell you what, you are going to be placed in the match for the WWE Championship. We're going to make it a triple threat match. Won't you go on ahead, go to the ring right now, because that match is coming up next. And everybody was ecstatic, and I just couldn't help but have a racial overtone as I was looking at this segment, because and this is just the comedian coming out in me, so you got to forgive me, but I was looking at Vince McMahon on his cell phone, and then just to see 3 black guys circle around him, I'm just picturing Vince McMahon.
Oh shit, let me call you right back. The mood's about to change in the most darkest way possible. Boys, hey, what can I do for you?
It almost kind of felt something along those lines, and basically McMahon said whatever he needed to say just to get those black guys out of his office, so he would no longer be made to feel fucking intimidated by them. That's just my 2 cents from a distance, right? I'm looking at it from just a pure comedic perspective, all right? Pure comedy, all right? So Kofi Kingston, he gets out there. He's the first one. He comes on out there, and we hear the ring announcer make the announcement that, okay, this is for the triple threat WWE Championship. Okay, great. But then we see the timekeeper says something to the announcer, and the announcer says, folks, I'm sorry, I have a correction to make. That match for the WWE Championship is not going to be happening until later on tonight. And so Kofi Kingston just continues to stand there in the ring when Sheamus and Cesaro come out, and then we hear the announcer continue that this match that's happening right now is a 2-on-1 handicap match. And so you're hearing this and you're going, wait a minute, this kind of was executed a bit sloppy here. Somebody's at fault here, because this is where storyline, like, Stupid Booking 101. I haven't done that in a good minute. That's what I usually do. My series is called Stupid Booking 101. And this is a case of Stupid Booking 101. So, if you're Kofi Kingston and you were told that you have a match for the WWE Championship and that it's a triple threat match, right? Why would you continue to stand in the middle of the ring with regards to this 2-on-1 handicap match? Because go back, you gotta listen to this. It never was established by the ring announcer that Kofi Kingston, please, you cannot leave, because per Mr. McMahon, this match that's happening right now, it involves you. You are involved in this handicap match. That never is established. What we hear the ring announcer say, clear as day, this match, it is for the WWE Championship. But then he's told, really? Oh, okay. Folks, I'm told that match is not happening until later tonight, but the match that's getting ready to happen right now is a handicap match. So, first off, why is Kofi Kingston continuing to stand there in the ring? I mean, shit, I'd be like, okay, well, if my match ain't until later on, what the fuck? You know how you could have cleaned that up? Done what I just said a few seconds ago, or you could have had Vince McMahon come out right when Kofi is walking up the ramp. Could have had Vince McMahon come out and say, Kofi, where you going? Well, you said that I was involved in a WWE Championship match later tonight. Yeah, well, yeah, that's later tonight, but remember, I told you that you did have a match. It was next, and that's actually the match. So I suggest, if you want your championship opportunity, you turn your ass right back around and you get on in there. They should have somehow cleaned it up, is all I'm saying. And they did not clean it up. So basically, that match was a 2-on-1 beatdown. Cesaro, Sheamus taking on Kofi. 2-on-1 beatdown. Got so bad that the crowd was booing the hell out of it. They are actually chanting, "This is boring." We did see Big E, Xavier Woods. They tried to come to their brother's aid, but they got ambushed by Nakamura and Rusev. So if you want to get technical, this was almost a League of Nations 2.0 reunion, right? Except now, when it comes to Cesaro and Nakamura, they've basically replaced Wade Barrett, and Alberto Del Rio, Alberto El Patron, right? So, I'm watching this, it's, oh shit, tell me we're not going in this direction. Tell me we're not going in this direction, because that went over like a wet fart the last time. So we're going in this direction now. Really, really. Crazy. Just crazy how that had came about. Now, as I mentioned, we saw Nakamura, Rusev. They pretty much were like somehow, once Big E and Xavier Woods came down the stage ramp, kind of like midway on the ramp, just out the clear blue, Rusev, Nakamura. It was almost like they came from the floor, like off to the cut somewhere, like they were anticipating them, and they jumped them. Cesaro, Sheamus, they finished off Xavier Woods. They finished off Kofi Kingston. It wasn't a 2-on-1 traditional handicap match. This was basically two guys in the ring at the same time beating the crap out of one guy. That was the type of a handicap match that it was. For those of you that didn't watch and were maybe a little bit curious how this exactly came to be. So, hey, at least we got Kofi Kingston later on during the night, right? At least he's going to be involved in that triple threat match for the WWE Championship, right? No, I was going to bring that up later on during the night, but that's not what closed out the pay-per-view event. So we might as well just go to that match right now, even though I'm a little bit out of order. So we go to the triple threat match for the WWE Championship between Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, returning Kevin Owens. Well, we see Kevin Owens come out. We see Daniel Bryan come out. But we don't get Kofi Kingston. And okay, well, what happened with Kofi? Surely we're going to go to a backstage segment and we're going to see that Kofi is still suffering from the beatdown that he was given earlier, and as a result, he's not going to be able to partake in this match for the WWE Championship. Surely we're going to hear something like that, right? And this is where even more confusion comes into play. Again, the confusion is set forth by what all we saw with the interactions with Vince McMahon prior. So instead, what happens? We get Mustafa Ali, who comes out. And I just couldn't help but feel really bad for Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali coming out, and I was very quick to point this out, but it was the main theme that just kept being repeated over and over on social media and in the Discord chat rooms. And it's very accurate. To see Mustafa Ali come out, it was almost like that Royal Rumble a couple of years ago, where Rey Mysterio came out at number 30 and they just booed the shit out of him. And you just couldn't help but feel sorry for that kid. The only difference is when Mustafa Ali came out, Mustafa Ali was not booed. Mustafa Ali was not cheered. Mustafa Ali got no reactions whatsoever. You could hear a fucking pin drop. You couldn't help but feel really sorry for this kid. Because look, when it's all said and done, this kid Ali did not ask to be put in this position. He did not ask to be put in this match. He comes to the arena. Hey, this is what we got planned. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, let me go talk with the boys, see how we're going to go about this match, go over our spots, right? That's it. And I really felt for Mustafa Ali. I love Mustafa Ali. I really think he has been coming around. Do I feel that they took him away from 205 a bit too soon? I do. I was also quick to point out that, hey, having him face Daniel Bryan and everything, kind of teasing maybe these two could fight each other for the WWE Championship. I like that, but man, aren't we going a little bit too fast, a little bit too soon? Don't you think it makes more sense for him to slide back into his program with Samoa Joe? Those two have some unfinished business. That's actually a nice little rivalry kind of simmering just a little bit there. Won't you kind of maybe go back to that? And I was really under the impression that if anything, Mustafa Ali was going to chase after Joe for the United States Championship, and it would culminate with them fighting each other at WrestleMania. That's the impression that I was under. And sadly, that's not what's been happening. I appreciate the way that they have been writing for Ali. They've been trying to give him that rub off and everything, and I don't think it was a case where the fans at the Quicken Loans Arena were shocked by seeing Ali. I think it was just really a case where, we really don't know you like that to, right? So you couldn't boo him, you couldn't cheer him. It's just indifferent, right? And then once it really started to settle in that it's Ali, it's not Kofi, then the fans let their voices be heard. They started chanting for Kofi, and it took several minutes before finally the fans just went on ahead, got lost in this matchup. And I got to commend Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan working really good as a heel. Some of his best work has always been as a heel, trying to do everything in his power to help get Ali some type of crowd reaction in his favor. And not even Daniel Bryan was really able to help him. If anything, Daniel Bryan, KO, they were getting reactions that they were able to get. If anything, the only time that freaking Mustafa Ali had got some type of a reaction for the crowd, according to my notes, you can go back and you can check this for yourself, there was a wicked ass Spanish fly spot that happened from the top turnbuckle involving him and Daniel Bryan, where he executed the Spanish fly maneuver on Daniel Bryan. I was really concerned about Daniel Bryan, concussions and all that shit. Man, couldn't believe he had took that spot. But then there was another spot where he did a 450 splash onto the apron. So you got Daniel Bryan, who's just laying outside of the ring. He's like on the side of the apron. You know, he's still in the ring, but now he's outside of the ropes around the apron area. And we see freaking Mustafa Ali does a pretty ass 450 splash. Those two spots, those were badass. But I mean, other than that, the crowd was really indifferent to Ali. I really felt bad for the kid because I could really tell that he went out there and it was a case of, okay, this is my opportunity. I'm not really going to be getting that many of these, at least as far as I know. So let me go out here and let me put it all on the line. And I got to give a lot of props to KO. And I got to give props in particular to Daniel Bryan, particularly to Daniel Bryan, putting his health out there like that just to try to help get Mustafa even more over. This was definitely a case where the veterans were trying to do everything they can to help get this young man over, but the crowd just very indifferent other than those two spots. So Daniel Bryan retaining the WWE Championship. I don't think anybody honestly had, thought that Daniel Bryan was going to be losing that. I mean, that was pretty much a foregone conclusion. I mean, to the point when you look at a lot of these matches that we got tonight, any of these matches that involve some type of a title, come on, man. History has shown with some of these Fastlane pay-per-views, everybody's pretty much safe as they make it on the road to WrestleMania for the most part. So I don't think anybody's really shocked that Daniel Bryan came out of there retaining the title. Now, if anything, one of the things that I looked at when I saw that Ali was added to this, I said, okay, well, you know what? It's good that Kofi is not in here because you can easily come on back at some point and you can still try to do your Kofi Mania, right? But then to have Mustafa Ali be involved in this triple threat match, okay, well, if you want to try to protect Kevin Owens since he's just coming back, you can protect him. If you want to sacrifice Mustafa Ali, who still has a young, bright future, you can have him be the one to be sacrificed. Let him eat the pin. Let him eat the submission. You can easily do that, right? So the question now, well, is exactly that what happened? Well, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. No, I'm kidding. I'm just pulling you guys' chain. No, in the closing moments of that matchup, Eric Rowan, he did try to get involved. He was looking on at Daniel Bryan, telling him, hey, come on, man. Come on, we're close. Come on, get back into the game. Get back into the game. We saw Daniel Bryan. He did a little bit of trash talking to Ali. Kept telling him how he doesn't deserve to be in his presence. He doesn't deserve the opportunity that's been bestowed upon him. And he's just smacking the hell out of him a couple of times. Ali starts to get hulked up. He starts to get on a hot streak. He's pissed. He just comes right back, slapping Daniel Bryan and doing the whole offense and everything, just firing off elbow strikes. They both end up colliding in midair as Daniel Bryan connects with a flying knee to Mustafa Ali's face. Pretty much knocked out Ali, and Daniel Bryan was able to retain the WWE Championship that way. So again, once you see Ali, okay, he's eating the pin or the submission, right? Okay, all right. But where does this leave Kofi now? That was the main deal. All right, next matchup. Raw Tag Team titles, Chad Gable, Bobby Roode. Bobby! Taking on Aleister Black, Ricochet, and the defending Raw Tag Champions, The Revival. Good tag matchup. Really can't complain about this one. This one went exactly the way I thought it was going to go down, especially as far as who was going to come out of this retaining. Went exactly as I expected it to. Yeah, it's a good tag match, but I mean, God, I am getting so damn sick and tired of seeing Chad Gable and Bobby Roode as a team. I am just salivating. I'm waiting patiently for Bobby Roode to just turn on little Chad Gable already. I just, it's not working. It's just not working. I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not. I'm not feeling it whatsoever, man. I'm really, really not. And the odd pairing of Aleister Black and Ricochet, I just continue to scratch my head at that. And that's another team I'm looking at wondering, when is Black going to just kick the living shit out of Ricochet? When is he going to kick his damn head off his shoulders? Because between that team and then Gable and Roode, one of these teams, can you please just disintegrate already? It's just, it's really nerve-wracking right now. And look, I appreciate WWE trying to do everything that they can to try to spark a little bit of interest with the whole tag team division again and everything, but this, it's just not working for me. At least when I look at those two respective tag teams, it's just not working for me whatsoever. And I think I just heard my dog bark. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Sometimes she has a bad dream and she'll just start hollering like I don't know what. Closing moments of this tag team matchup. We see Bobby Roode sends Black into the barrier. Ricochet comes down from the top, runs in the ring, leaping over the ring post, take down Roode, takes him down to the floor. Gable, shocked and all, can't believe what he had just saw. Gable comes off the top, but Dawson manages to take Chad Gable's momentum and turns it into a roll-up, only gets him a 2 count. From there, we see the Revival. They pretty much ended up hitting the Shatter Machine on Gable to pick up the win and retain their Raw tag titles that way. So, look, as far as, once again, here's a case where, hey, we're not ready to put the tag belts on Aleister Black and Ricochet just yet. We got to have a team eat the pin. Who's it going to be? Well, hey, and it's kind of playing to what I had said when I was offering predictions. I said, look, maybe you can do an eventual case where they lose tonight, and then maybe leading up into Mania, there is a tournament to try to figure out who's going to be #1 contenders that will take on the Revival for the Raw tag titles. And that Gable, Roode, they have an opportunity in this tournament, but they come up short. Maybe you have Roode turn on Gable, right? I keep saying Gable. I could have sworn I put an M in there for a hot second, but Gable. And because, look, WrestleMania is going to be like 6 hours long. So you got to have a lot of matches. So if you're going to have that team break up, with what WWE had did tonight, the seeds definitely have been planted. We all can be in agreement of that, that if you wanted to break that team up, you could go there. And I just look at a guy like Bobby Roode. I know some people feel a certain way about Bobby Roode, but I tell you, everything that was remotely working for this man when he was coming up through NXT, it's just been a 180 since he's been on the main roster. It's quite sad. It's quite fucking sad. Not feeling it whatsoever. But decent tag match nonetheless. Decent tag match. Let's go to our next one. We only got a couple of more of these and we're blazing through this pretty good. Let me see where we are on the recorder here. Alright, so we're doing pretty good. We're only about an hour 5 maybe into this. So that's pretty good. Let's go. Keep going. US title. So, remember I was talking about Rey Mysterio and Cien Almas, or Andrade? Well, they were put in this U.S. title match. It ended up being a fatal 4-way. Samoa Joe defending the title against Rey Mysterio, Almas, and R-Truth. A good United States title match. Honestly, no surprise, Joe retaining right there. Again, this is the pay-per-view where you really should not be expecting, oh my God, to happen. And if you really wanted to shock the fans a little bit, you wanted to throw a little bit of a curveball out there, you definitely could have done it in this matchup, but it did not happen in that one. Samoa Joe, in the end, choking the living hell out of Rey Mysterio to make him tap out. That's how Joe was able to retain his title. So it was good. It was good. It was a good U.S. match. It was a good U.S. title match. Let's see. Boston Hug Connection. Bayley. Sasha Banks defending the women's tag titles against Tamina and Nia Jax. That was a successful title retain, although I do question a little bit of the booking that came about in this matchup, and I gotta really drive this home. I really do. I don't like the way that the Boston Hug Connection were able to retain the women's titles, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because if you're gonna have them go over, that's fine. But at least have them go over in such a way where, okay, my God, we're left fighting Nia Jax. If we can somehow take down Nia Jax, all right, we got this, right? Like every single time Nia Jax is the legal person, we got to do everything in our power to team up on her. We got to keep doing the hot tagging. We got to go for tag team combos. That's the way that we got to take her down. We got to be in and out, in and out, in and out. Tag team makes the dream work when it comes to working on Nia. Tamina, she's a bit smaller. We should be okay facing her one-on-one, but let's try to do everything we can when Nia's the legal person. Keep teaming up. And in the final moments of that particular matchup, this is where things just get a little bit stupid with the booking. So we see Sasha Banks and Bayley. They end up pushing Jackson to the ring post. Banks goes on the top, looks for some type of a double knee maneuver or whatnot. That was a good spot. It was a good spot. Bayley then follows up with a top rope elbow drop, but Tamina breaks up the pin. All right, no problem so far. Sasha ends up running over to stop Tamina, but Tamina drops her on the floor. Now, sending us home, we see Bayley. She ends up dropping Tamina over the middle rope. Meanwhile, Nia Jax grabs Bayley for a power bomb, but it's countered with a pin attempt. And somehow Sasha and Bayley retain that way. You gotta go back and watch this and you just, wait, what? Wait, what? That was just stupid. It was stupid booking as far as I was concerned. You really should have had it be a case where the girls teamed up on Nia. Many times, that's the MO. That has been the MO every single time Nia has been involved in some type of a championship match or there's been high stakes up for grabs. Every time you turn around, it's a case where let's gang up on Nia. And why that was not intact in the final moments of this matchup, I have no idea. But that was poor booking on whoever was in charge of doing this matchup. Now, they kind of redeemed themselves a little bit post-match, and I'll tell you how they had redeemed themselves. They redeemed themselves by, after the match, sore losers, not surprising there, Tamina, Nia beating the crap out of Bayley, and also continuing to beat the crap out of Sasha Banks. The action goes over to the announcer's table, where Jackson, Sasha flying through there. Fans, they are eating this up. They're booing big time at the girls. Big time. Getting worser and worser and worse. So we see Beth Phoenix. She gets up and she's trying to check on one of the girls to see, what's going on with them. And she starts to back away a little bit. And without realizing it, freaking Beth Phoenix is actually now, when she turns around, looking at Tamina, looking at Nia Jax, and there's just this intense moment, and you're going, oh man, if Beth Phoenix is going to get back into this, hey, this is a good spot right here. This is a good time, good place, and we see a bit of back and forth trash talking and all that good stuff coming about. And finally, we just see Beth Phoenix. She loses it. She starts coming in with the strikes, but no match. Eventually, Nia Jax, Tamina, the numbers game. They were able to take care of her. Her longtime buddy, Natty, came running down, trying to help her out. She got laid out as well. So it kind of seems that now the story that we're going to be telling is possibly it's going to be the team of Natty and Beth Phoenix reuniting, maybe on the grandest stage of them all, to take on Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, and I love Natty. I've been a Natty supporter for a lot of years now. I have been. I just can't help but wonder if we should be going in this direction, right? Because I think we all could be in agreement that these past couple of months, Natty has had a bit of a cold hand, right? And I think if there was ever a time, and it's not her fault, let's make sure we really stress that. It's not entirely her fault. The big bulk of the blame is put on the WWE. And the big bulk of the blame goes on them, because if there was ever a time where, you know what, we've got the fans right where we want them, in the palm of our hands when it comes to how we want for them to react to Natty, is when her father passed. And if there was ever a time to, okay, well, you know what, the show must go on. Sure, if he was alive, he would love it if we were to go in this direction by bringing him up. Sure, he'd probably go, hey, whatever you need to get the story over, just as long as it's good, smart business, sure, do it, right? But WWE doesn't even do that. They waited like a couple of months, and then, right, so the timing and all that, right where you had the sympathy, right where you had the crowd really in her favor, rooting her on and all that, right, they missed it. It was ill-timed when they finally pulled the trigger on that, and just everything that has come since then has been a bit lackluster. Even the feud that she had going on there, continue to have going on there with Ruby Riott, it's just been, so I am a little bit leery. That's the word I want to use, right? I'm leery of a Natty Beth Phoenix. It's got to be booked just right. It's got to be booked just right. If you're going to go with that, okay. Now, I like the idea more of Natty and Beth teaming up to eventually challenge Sasha and Bayley for the tag belts at Mania. I kind of like that idea more than them teaming up to take on Tamina and Nia. So I'm very curious to see where they're going to be going with that. And then, of course, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you do go in the direction of Tamina and Nia taking on Beth and Natty. Where does that leave Bayley and Sasha? Are they now in a position where for their tag titles, they get challenged by somebody from the SmackDown side of things? And if so, who are you going to use? Are you going to use Carmella and Naomi? Are you going to use the Iconics to take them on? What direction are you going to go with regards to those Raw women's tag titles? So, lot of time to tell that story in the coming weeks. See how many more matches we got left here. I think we only got one more at this point. Yeah, we only got one more to talk about, and that's pretty much our main event match of the night. Guys, I don't think I've missed any other matches. I've already talked about the WWE Championship match. I'm just looking at all the other matches. Yeah, that's pretty much it. One more match. The Shield reuniting to take on Baron Corbin, or Olive Garden Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. You know what sealed the deal for me that the Shield was going to win this? Fucking Michael Cole. Not even 3 minutes. And he's already saying, oh, this is the last time that the Shield is getting together. You know why? It's because of that man, Dean Ambrose. And you're like, damn, what the hell Dean Ambrose do to you, Cole? It's like Dean Ambrose, he is not renewing his WWE contract. He's going to be leaving us shortly after WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, fuck. Like I've already had this in the back of my mind, but the fact that they just really broadcasted the hell out of this and they mentioned it more than once, I couldn't help but look at this matchup and say, fuck, as far as predictions go, I ain't got this one because they're bringing up Dean leaving a bit too much. So, yeah, safe to say that they're going to go over. But see, the way that I had this match set up, I had liked the idea more of Dean Ambrose turning on the Shield. I love the idea more of, okay, Seth, Roman, they think everything is peaches and cream with frickin' Ambrose, but it's not. Ambrose, when it counts the most, is gonna let them down like frickin' Fredo in Godfather 2. And he's gonna turn his back, does the dirty deeds on frickin' Roman Reigns. Corbin and crew, they pretty much win that way. And then when you go into why, Dean, why? Pretty much unresolved issues between Dean, Roman, sets them up for WrestleMania. But now it's just so much is in the air now, because we know Seth has a date with the Beast. Things are very murky right now with Roman. You know, where exactly does he go? What's his place at Mania? And then what exactly is going to happen with Dean Ambrose leading up to Mania? So I'm very, very puzzled by everything that came about tonight, especially seeing the Shield go over Olive Garden and crew. Good tag match. Nonetheless, it was a good tag match. Played out exactly the way I thought it was going to play out, with the exception of who was getting the W in that one. It was, was it great seeing the boys back? Yeah, it definitely was great seeing the boys back, but I mean, come on. It's almost like one of my favorite Q-Tip songs, Breathe and Stop. We've seen this happen so many times with the Shield. They're on again. They're off again. They're on again. They're off again. Right? It's just, now, for me at least, it's just, alright, whoopee-doo, right? Frustrating. But closing moments of this matchup, yeah, I guess we can at least tell you that for those of you that really are excited about the Shield and all that getting back together. Again, the way this was stressed was last time, so you can't really help but wonder if this really is it, because you hear that and turns out it's the 500th time that you're getting the same type of match style all over again, right? But no, closing moments of this matchup, the Shield, they ended up getting Baron Corbin alone in the middle of the ring, and they set his ass up good. They did all their signature moves, all of that, the spear, the triple power bomb. They did all that shit on them, so much so that when they did the signature power bomb, the fans, they chanted one more time. They wanted to see it once again, so they hurt him again. That poor dude, that poor Baron Corbin. Oh man, that shit said dirty deeds, Superman punch, sidekick. They beat him down good and ended it with another big power bomb, covering him in the middle of the ring. Did Roman Reigns, picking up the 1, 2, 3. All three brothers standing strong, standing tall in the ring, doing the Shield fist pump. Pretty much your pay-per-view goes off that way. So everybody goes home with that good feel moment, right? I guess they didn't want to send people. And it's so weird because I thought for sure that, you know what? We skipped a match. We skipped a match. I knew we skipped a match. I'll get to it. I remember which match we skipped now. That's how they wanted to send people home happy. I'm fine with this closing out the pay-per-view because of the match that happened before, which was Becky Lynch taking on Charlotte Flair. That match went exactly the way it was supposed to go. She has the bad leg, Becky Lynch does. Charlotte is going to be homing in on that for a majority of the match, right? This is a story that we told when we were offering preview and predictions. And it went exactly as played out. Perfect blueprint. Both of those girls played it down to the T. But you couldn't help but wonder exactly, okay, well, if Becky has this bad leg And if she is going to win, just how exactly is she going to win? Is she going to get lucky and get a roll up? How exactly is this going to happen? Well, we wouldn't have to worry too long, as we saw at one point, Charlotte, she had hit the ring to break a count as Becky Lynch had applied the disarm her. Flair managed to overpower it, gets free, reverses it, tries to apply the figure 8. When all of a sudden, Ronda Rousey comes running down to the ring, drags out Becky Lynch, nails Becky while she's in the submission hold still. Fans are booing the hell out of this. Referee has no choice but to call for the bell. And that's how Becky Lynch wins. Becky Lynch basically wins via DQ. So Becky Lynch, as a result of winning, she advances to WrestleMania. She is now in the triple threat match. So Ronda gets what she wants regardless, right? I mean, just the way creatively, I wish they could have done that a lot better. Me personally, I like the idea that I had put out during the predictions preview episode, which was somehow through the adversity, Becky Lynch is able to get through it. She's able to win. She's able to beat her longtime rival in Charlotte Flair, and she's able to get the W. But then have Ronda come on out post-match, beat the holy shit out of both girls, stand strong, have that moment where the fans are just booing the hell out of her, right? Sell it, sell it, sell it. And it just seemed as though creatively nothing was there with the way that they had this pretty much end. It was very lackluster. It wasn't climactic in any least. Yeah, that one just left a weird, bitter aftertaste in my mouth, I would have to say. But overall, I would have to say that this pay-per-view, I would give it a C+. So if we're going from a number scale 1 to 10, I would probably give it a, I'd probably give it a 5.5. Almost a 6 out of 10. I'm leaning more towards a 5.5, give or take. Let's see what you guys had said about the pay-per-view on social media. And I do see some of you guys interacting in the Discord chat, so I'm definitely going to pull up what you guys are saying before we get ready to wrap it up. See, let's look at the polling results though. Let's go on back one more time here. So I'm going to start with YouTube, and I'm going to see where we are. And if you guys did not get a chance, there's a hilarious video you need to go check out. It is me taking the the chocolate challenge, or the cocoa challenge. Check it out. It is a really fun video. Watch me die. That's all I have to say. Watch me die for your laughing pleasure. It's a hilarious piece. All right. So YouTube, we got about 13% of votes. People giving it a thumbs down. 40% want no more pay-per-views before WrestleMania. So basically, just to make sure everybody understands what we're saying there, no more in between a pay-per-view, right? No more pay-per-view before WrestleMania. Just whatever the last pay-per-view is right after they get done. I don't know. We get the Royal Rumble in January, right? And then we usually get a pay-per-view in February, right? I think at this point everybody would just, that don't want a pay-per-view weeks before Mania, would prefer it if after the February pay-per-view they just sell WrestleMania, just sell. So 40% are saying no more pay-per-view before WrestleMania, please. 13% thumbs down, 47% giving the pay-per-view a thumbs up. All right, so again, that is on YouTube. And with regards to Kofi Kingston, look, I think when it's all said and done, I know a lot of people are going to continue to be pissed off, and that's the whole point. They want you to be pissed off. I think the way that this story arc is playing with Kofi Kingston, I wouldn't put it past it if storyline wise Vince is doing what he's doing to Kofi to get him toughened up, to show him that sometimes, you know, things can be pretty challenging, things can be difficult. I wouldn't be surprised if Vince was just showing tough love to Kofi to say, you know, I've always appreciated you, I've always respected you, I've done what I've done to you to really make sure that you're ready, because in that type of limelight, that is a different beast. It's nothing compared to what you've had in your career up to this point, right? I just kind of have that feeling that maybe that's the direction we're kind of going in. Hopefully a guy like Jeff Jarrett. Hey man, I'll tell you what. Kofi, he's good. But you know who I really think is coming along quite well? I'll tell you what, man. Put me in there. Put me in there against that Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I think it's tough love when it's all said and done. It's just tough love. Let's see what you guys are saying on Twitter. Now that we've looked up the YouTube results here. I got some interactions that's coming in on Twitter as well. So I'm trying to see what that's about. Okay, so I'm going to go with... Where are we at here? Alright, so we got 23%. Again, this is via Twitter. 23% giving the pay-per-view a thumbs down. 30% want no more March pay-per-views. Just go to WrestleMania already. 48% are giving the pay-per-view a thumbs up. Let's see what's going on with the interactions here. Nope. Nope, we're good right now. We're good right now. Perfect. And then what's going on in Discord? See what's going on in Discord. Shout out to everybody in the Discord chat tonight. What we got here? I see Cody giving the show a C+. Says he's being generous. Best part of the show was Elias, and that's saying something. It did to a degree almost kind of feel like you were watching an episode of Raw, right? To a degree almost. Lee Strack feels that there were a lot of mistakes made in matches during the night. Let's see, what else? I got Freddie giving it a C+ to a low B. That'd be his rating. Some good fun matches and spots, but again, there's poor storytelling. Yeah, if there's one big main takeaway you could take from tonight's pay-per-view event, it definitely is the lack in plugging certain holes in the story arcs that had came about with some of these matches, the bookings and all that. Yeah, it just, honestly, if I were to tell somebody that just got home from work and they were thinking about checking out the pay-per-view, you didn't miss nothing. Go to sleep. You'll be all right. You will be all right. Nothing major happened. You know, if there were a couple of title changes and the matches were just, wow, you gotta see this because some titles had changed hands, then that's one thing. But to have a mediocre pay-per-view where nothing monumental happens, I think one of the things that really would have been nice, and I really was expecting this too, and I should have put it out there on social media, but I was expecting at one point maybe Dave Bautista would make a cameo just to talk some hot garbage shit, right? Insult the Cleveland crowd and all that. And, you know, even if he couldn't like be there in person, if maybe something weird came about where somehow there's a transmission feed from Batista and he's just reminding people how he's going to be at Raw Monday night. Like, I would have preferred it if we would have seen something that just, oh, wasn't expecting that. If we could have gotten an appearance by Brock Lesnar, like, that really would have been great. I really would have loved it if Brock Lesnar at some point during that main event match between Shield and Olive Garden Corbin, if somehow Brock Lesnar would have just popped up in that bad boy while inadvertently the referee gets taken out, F5s this shit out of Seth Rollins, talks whatever hot game he wants to talk or whatever, right? I would have preferred it if something like that would have happened. And then you still could have easily played along into the whole Dean Ambrose turning on Roman Reigns. I still feel you should have went in that route instead of trying to go for that good feel moment and sending everybody home happy and shit. I don't know what the fuck was up with that, but yeah, just weird all the way around. All right, so other than that, I think that is good. I think at this point we got about an hour. Yep, we got about, once I get done editing, we got about an hour, 30 minutes of a show. We're going to stick a fork in it, call it DONE done. So once again, Patreon members, you guys are going to get my special edition of 30 with Lee reviewing Captain Marvel. And then everybody else, I'm going to just give that to you all a handful of days later. Sorry, but that's how we roll. We got to make sure we show the Patreon members a lot of love. And also, we got a new RCWR show that's going to come at you all Tuesday night, March 12th, 10 p.m. Eastern, as soon as SmackDown goes off the air. Check that out. Be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you may have missed. You may have noticed the webcast is not on the YouTube channel. That's because nobody told me this either. We had people that were interacting in the Discord and on Twitter, and not one person told me, hey Lee, I'm watching the YouTube web stream and dude, the audio is not working. And so it was not savable whatsoever. So if you guys were looking for this past week's show where I reflected on the passings of Luke Perry, Keith Flint, King Kong Bundy, and I've had people send me private messages, emails, saying how much they enjoyed listening to me go down memory lane with those guys. Check it out. It was a good episode. The audio is available all on your favorite listening platforms. Just use the keywords the RCWR show. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR show. And that is going to do it. Until next go round, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly be kind to one another. Adios.